And the weakening shilling, currently at 140 to the dollar, continues to pile pressure on the cost of living in the country, with commodity prices expected to hit a record high because Kenya is an importing nation. Economists, however, worry that the shilling could weaken even further, with many expecting it to hit 150 shillings to the dollar in the coming months. They've also asked businesses to tighten their belts, as the situation could continue to worsen in the next 24 months. Faisal Ahmed breaks it down.
Over the last 12 months, the shilling has shed about 10% of its value to the dollar, this pushing the inflation rate in the country to a high of 9.2% in February. Kenya, being a net importer of products, relies on foreign currencies to make purchases, and this puts extra pressure on the central bank reserves. Sector experts say that the situation will get worse before getting better.
US dollar is a global currency for trading purposes. You're going to demand more for the US dollar. All right. So the dollar is always going to be demanded. So that is going to determine how strong the Kenya shilling is going to be. And if that current account deficit is going to widen, if it is today, it's 5 to 6%. In time to come, we're looking at 10 to 11%. Then there is a possibility that the Kenya shilling could depreciate even further. It is going to depreciate, but it is depreciating faster because we have factors in the US which are not helping us because of the high interest rates.
According to Alpesh, the situation is expected to remain unchanged for the next 18 to 24 months, mainly because of the mechanisms put in place by the US government, including raising the interest rates of the US Fed Reserves, which has strengthened the currency.
I think the next 18 to 24 months are going to be extremely difficult. So I think it's important for businesses to tighten their belts, bring in efficiencies. And to be honest, today the rate is 140, it could be 142. By June, it could possibly reach 150. We don't know. It all depends how the issues in the US are dealt with. Because the question to ask is, for how long can we allow the Kenya shilling to depreciate? Because for me, even as an individual, if I'm in the manufacturing industry, I'm buying raw materials. Today, if I'm going to buy my raw material at 150 or at 170 shillings in time to come, will I be able to sell that product in the market when the disposable income is not increasing?
The rates have fluctuated between 140 and 145 shillings in currency exchange bureaus over the last 1 week, with the CBK rate at 129 shillings and 89 cents. Over the last 6 months, tracking the movement of the dollar, it peaked at its highest at 129.89 shillings as at March 17th, with the lowest exchange rate in the last 6 months being in August of last year, where the exchange rate was 119 shillings and 37 cents, with an average rate of 122 shillings and 2 cents over a 6-month period, according to data from the central bank. According to Edward Gashani, an auto dealer, the price of vehicles have gone up over the last month dramatically.
There's a dip on the sales, there's a slight dip on the sales, because customers will come and they'll think we are the ones who are adding up the prices. But again, the more you delay, the more the cars become. The more expensive the cars become. Because 1 minute Faizi will come and say, this car, maybe for example, this Prado, come and say, I'm giving the Prado for 8.5. After 2 months or 3 months, you come, the same car is going for 8.8. So you see, you have to cough 300,000 more just because of the exchange rate. Yeah. And you see, the dollar relates to almost all currencies on the world. Yeah.
The continued depression on the shilling is expected to push on the cost of living in the country, as Kenya's economy is import dependent. Kenya's main imports include fuel products, machinery, medicine, vegetable oil, pharmaceuticals, cars, wheat and clothing. All this bought using the US dollar. This means that traders who import goods will spend more to acquire them, thus passing on the cost to the consumers.
The industry has had an issue with access of enough dollars to procure for the product. This is given the fact that 30% of all the dollar needs in this country or thereabout is in petroleum industry. If it continues like that, I agree with you, it would cause us issues and probably even affect the pricing that we have in terms of petroleum products.
The dollar strengthened dramatically in 2022 as a result of the US Fed increasing interest rates in an effort to counter increasing inflation. Faisal Ahmed, Citizen TV, Nairobi.